The Oregon City Art Commission will come to order December 15th. It is just past 7 o'clock, 7:02. Roll call.
Commissioner Andrews?
Here.
Commissioner Andrews?
Here.
Commissioner Burek?
Here.
Commissioner Carlson?
Here.
Commissioner Jones?
Here.
Commissioner Lugo?
Here.
Commissioner Planton?
Here.
Commissioner Wilson?
Here.
And Commissioner Woodward is celebrating her husband's birthday.
Okay, first on our agenda is the approval of the minutes. Minutes were sent out to all of the Art Commission. Does anybody have any revisions, additions, or any changes? If there are no corrections, Commission approves it as called.
Actually, remember, they have to, someone makes a motion to approve the minutes and then someone seconds and goes from there.
I moved that we approve the October minutes.
I second.
Thank you.
The minutes as distributed have been approved by the...
Now you have to ask for the vote.
Okay, now we have to go through. Sorry. Okay, one by one.
Commissioner Andrews?
Yes, approved.
Commissioner Andrews?
Approved.
Commissioner Burek?
I'm going to abstain because I wasn't at the meeting.
Commissioner Carlson?
I approve.
Commissioner, we moved and seconded, jump down, Commissioner Planton?
Approved.
Commissioner Wilson?
Approve.
Thank you.
Minutes as distributed and approved have been passed and approved. At this point, are there any public comments, any public or online or in person?
No.
No public comment. So we'll move on to the agenda, which are the interviews. So first interview on our agenda is Quire, Leah Hugon. Have I pronounced that correctly? Yes.
Come on, go ahead. Come on up.
Now you do that. Now you
Yes.
come up.
So some commissioners have questions in front of you, sorry. They should have been on a little script.
Oh.
And then it moved.
It probably fell somewhere.
Oh, that's you. Okay, got it.
So that's yours.
There's one here.
Oh, yeah, that was Mary Anderson. Anyone want to ask a question? I have 5 more left.
I'll take one.
Yeah, just pass them around.
Well, you should have one in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take another one.
We only have time for one for each commissioner.
Okay, no problem. Who's the artist who always did all the billboards, the electronic billboards?
Oh, me
They
too.
were like questions or statements. You know, like back in the 80s.
Might as well.
Not
She was this like really famous artist, and she's had like
I don't know.
digital panels that would ask lots of random questions.
Oh my God, I love it. I don't know that. I'll have to look that up.
Tell us about your art.
Mary, do you have your question that you sent me?
I would need to find it in my email, but I can pull it up.
Yes, if you could, that would be great.
Just,
We'll put you on last of those as we will loop this way. Okay.
Sounds good, thank you.
Okay, as we do this, we only have 20 minutes per interview, so I'm going to be setting a timer. Rather than having the timer facing the person usually speaking, they get the little red light, green light. It'll start with 15 minutes because it won't let me set a 20-minute timer. So, so when you start, then I will start the timer, and it'll just give you a friendly 5-minute warning, so to speak.
Okay, great.
What are we gonna do without you, Dan?
Someone
I
else will
just
take
want
care
to
of
be
it.
more fun show. I just don't.
I don't know what we're going.
All right.
So we'll start from left and go around. So Commissioner Burek, would you like to start with your question?
Wonderful. Certainly. So just, this is just really informal, so you can just kind of, whatever it is that you have to contribute. So what do you understand as the role of a city commission. So what's your understanding of the role of the city commission?
Oh, that's a wonderful question. From watching some televised meetings, it seems like you commissioners are responsible for both coming up with ideas on how to support and promote the arts and also finding ways to actually put action to those ideas. I don't think I watched anything where there was like a voting on something. So that's how I understand the position.
My question is, tell us about your art.
Oh, yeah. So,
Right, that's a fun one.
Better
I'm gonna,
question
this is
than
hard,
my
I'm like, we only have 20 minutes, what's going on? So currently, I work in watercolor and gouache landscapes. I occasionally do plexiglass etching and overlay, and I'm been, for the last almost year and a half, been working on a series where I take historic sites such as like the Barclay House or, the McLaughlin House and I've been reimagining them through research and reaching out to different people of what they would look like had settlement not taken place, and then painting a landscape from that, and then doing a digital drawing etched into plexiglass overlaying that. So I've only completed 2 of those works. The research part takes a little bit. So, yeah, and that's what I'm currently working on. Overall, I consider my art practice to be a conversation. I often weave in voices of people in my community, and myself with those people. And my attempt is really just to have a conversation of our shared humanity. Any questions?
I mean, I'm sorry to follow up, I'm just really
Yeah.
curious. So when you say you do a painting where you're imagining, like you do research on the property and then do a painting as if settlement had not happened, like are you doing a painting like just about the forest or something, or
Yeah,
what?
just with the landscape. I'm trying to include both how the landscape would look had it not been clear cut and buildings and settlement happen on there, and also potential indigenous uses of the land as well. So,
My question is, what is your ultimate vision of what you would like to see the Art Commission accomplish?
oh yeah, so I mean, I feel like the demographics of Oregon City seem to be changing pretty quickly, and I feel like oh man, well, can you repeat the question one more time?
Yes.
'Cause I have no idea.
What is your vision of what you
Yeah.
would like to see the Art Commission accomplish?
Okay, yeah, I think that the Art Commission has opportunities to weave the arts into daily life of Oregon City, and possibly a little bit more through social media outlets. I feel that people more and more are getting their information solely from social media. They're not looking up websites, they're not connecting through posters. It's really all social media. And I would like to see that increase. And I would like to see, honestly, the arts woven into more of the Main Street downtown space. I think there's a lot of opportunity there, so.
Thank you.
So my question is, what is your vision for the future of the arts in Oregon City? So different a little bit from the Art Commission, but the arts in Oregon City more broadly, I guess?
Yeah.
As opposed to like connected with the commission specifically.
Yeah. Okay, so I think what I've noticed, and just from living in the McLaughlin neighborhood, is there seems to be city real estate that is just untapped that could be used for the arts. Definitely in this neighborhood. I live across the street from Barclay. It is lightly used. I see the theater used for the children's group that perform there, but like, why not? Performances, musical performance, adult theater, like, why not everything else? Like, it's only used twice a year, it seems like, 'cause that's when parking stuff. So I think that those are broad opportunities. Again, I really think that there could be more partnership with the retail and the downtown or Oregon City Association, even like the haunted tours. I really think we could weave more connection into that with the arts, so.
I was just thinking that today about the Barclay House. I drove right by, I was like,
I've talked
It's
to a
just-
couple of
I
people
know.
about that, and it's
That's a
not
great
possible
idea.
at this time.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
But there may be other opportunities with other
Yeah, and
buildings.
there's the Buena Vista house over at Atkinson Park too, and, also, a thought I had, I'm a hard hiker and a forager, and it would be really cool to, have some artists do stuff with outdoor in the parks, like weave that into, like, we have really nice parks here, so.
Oh, totally,
yeah,
yeah.
It'd be really fun, so, anyways.
There used to be a festival at the demonstration forest.
Really?
Yeah, if they brought that back, that would be phenomenal.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
there's some nice art up there too. There's some nice art up there. And we could put some down in Mule Creek Canyon on some of the new trails.
Yeah.
In Mule Creek Canyon, that would be a
Oh, I
great place
love,
for some
yeah,
art.
yeah, I love those trails, yeah. I forage there. Good, stinging nettle and salmonberry.
All right, next.
What do you feel is the best asset you bring to the commission?
Oh, yeah, so I honestly feel my best asset is looking for unconventional opportunities for artists. It's what I've done, not just in my own work, weaving voices into my own work, but also for 11 years, I was a part of a co-op studio in downtown Portland, and I took it upon myself. We had a great common space. I took it upon myself to make unconventional art shows there. We had a art show where you would roll dice to sell the art. That's how much you'd pay. I partnered with independent film festival friends and makers. They did the Portland Unknown Festival. I don't know if you've heard of that. It was pretty cool for a while.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
moved. Anyway, sad. But partnered with them. We did like an experimental fashion night. We did an experimental music night. We did an experimental film night. All where artists were showing their work too. So I think, and also just the series I did called The Science of Change. I had applied for a grant and not gotten it, but in that grant, I was proposing that we put the science of change into mental health facilities, because I had a counselor friend that would be like, that looked at the work and be like, this would help my clients to watch this work. So I actually just reached out to a bunch of mental health facilities, and I partnered with Trillium, which is a youth mental health organization. And I came up with the opening. We did an artist talk with some of the kids, and we also had the art in their facilities for a long period of time so that the families and the kids, I shouldn't say kids, but yeah, the youth can see that. So I think the strength I have is finding opportunity where there is none, basically.
I'm sorry, I just have to follow. I'm curious. So you did this piece called The Science of Change. What was that about?
Oh, so I had interviewed people in my community and literally filmed interviews with them where I asked them to just talk about a story of like a pivotal moment in their life or extreme change. And then I labored over those interviews. I edited them down to a palatable amount of time, which that was hard. It was like meandering conversations. So I made 2 hours into like 35 minutes. So I thought I did it anyways. And then I went through the image stills and looked through facial expressions three facial expressions I only chose that I felt really communicated the arc of their story. And because I'm a mixed media artist, I did a painting, just a straight up canvas painting with acrylic. I did an embroidered piece, and then I did an etching in plexiglass. So, and they all showed next to each other. When I showed the series at Trillium, I actually got iPads to play the interviews next to the pieces, which was awesome. I showed them at the Multnomah Village Art Center, and I couldn't get iPads. That's a big ask. But I did do QR codes so people could just watch them on their phone, which actually really worked out well. So,
yeah. This question's, I think, similar a bit to the first one, but feel free to clarify. So what do you feel the role of the Arts Commission should be?
yeah. So I feel that, I'm going to go back to this statement of purpose of supporting and promoting the arts. I'm I'm a multimedia artist and I'm a multiple discipline artist. I'm a musician also, and I made a documentary one time, so I can say I'm a filmmaker. But really encompassing, what does the arts look like? Are we doing poetry? Are we doing musical performances? Are we doing things that are a little bit, maybe bringing something new, not experimental in a way that would like make it so families couldn't watch it, but something different into Oregon City and all the arts, you know, so I think a role of a commissioner really is a huge opportunity to make sure the arts flourish here, because I really believe that makes a community flourish.
Do you have past experience in working with governmental agencies?
Not.
Good.
I do have experience working with, I was with church agencies, so which can run very similarly. And I was on a HOA board, so that's a hot one. So, I mean, yes, yeah.
Commissioner Andrus?
Did you just call me?
Yes. I did.
Okay, sorry, it cut off. Thank you for your presentation here. I'm putting my question in the chat so you can read it, and I'll read it aloud too. So if chosen to serve on this commission, prioritize these 3 initiatives and share why you ranked them in that order. So the first is supporting artists through grant funding. The second is increasing public art projects. And the third is establishing a community arts center.
Oh, okay. Share why you rank them in that order. Yeah, so I really feel supporting artists through grants, and I would honestly extend that to any type of financial support opportunities. If we don't find ways to support artists, they can't make work. And I think that's really important to do in our community. That's why that is at the top of the list. And also, not just support them financially, but when an artist sells their work, the work lives beyond them. So that's super important. It is not uncommon for artists to just have a storage unit full of work that they have not gotten out there, because we want to make, right? And sometimes we're prolific and, you know, but if the work, so anyways, so I just, in general, finding ways to support artists financially and promote their work. Supporting artists through grant funding, increasing public art projects. Yeah, so increasing public art projects. I really love public art projects, and I have applied to and only gotten one, two. So I think that public art is super important because it makes art accessible. And not everybody could buy art. Not everybody has the bandwidth to go to a gallery. I mean, some people have huge commitments or families, and galleries, you know, are kind of not really something you think about on your way to Target to buy some milk and some tights, you know. For people with families, there's a lot of families in this community. So public art is a wonderful way to make art extremely accessible to a community. It encounters them people on their daily lives. They're not asking for it, which is fine. But like on your way to walk to the library, you can encounter art. On your way downtown, you know, wherever you're going. And I think that's super important. Accessibility of work. Establishing a community arts center. I feel like a community arts center, again, can bring more disciplines of art to Oregon City. When I first moved here, I joined TRAG for about a year, and then I wasn't able to. So, and I noticed, like, I was really impressed with TRAG, and you guys just had their stuff together. So many opportunities, but I was also wondering where there were opportunities for other art disciplines, and I haven't seen that here very much. So I think an art center would really support that. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
And just a follow-up to Commissioner Andrews' question. How would you prioritize those? Of those 3 items, what would you feel is the most important?
Oh, okay.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's tough though. I think that increasing public art would be first, honestly, just for the accessibility. And an art center, if we're talking about getting art in the community, would be second, and then third would be funding for artists. But I think they're all very closely aligned.
For sure. Thank you. How is our time?
You still have 4 minutes.
Still have 4 minutes. I have a question, I'm trying to think how to delicately put this. If there were lots of new regulations and processes that you would need to learn, as we all have over this past year, on a government process, would you be prepared to be able to integrate that and feel comfortable with it and not feel restricted, be able to move at a slower pace and just know that the wheels turn, but they turn slowly? And how would you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, again, this would be my first opportunity working with an actual city government, so it would be a learning curve for me to understand. But I'm a very adaptable person, so I feel confident that like I could pick it up and be like, cool, I'll calm down, y'all. You know, like.
Yes, I think it's going to be an art in itself to learn how to navigate, to be able to really be able to impact Oregon City with art. I know it's possible, that it may move a little slower than all of us would like to see, but that's okay. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We're doing what we need to do in the capacity that we're in, and it's all good.
Are they allowed to ask questions?
They can ask anything. At
Do you
this
have a
stage.
question for
I have
us?
2 main questions that I've been burning to ask ever since I applied. So my first question is, I am first a working artist. I still create work, and I'm a working artist solely in Oregon City. I've transitioned out of working in Portland. That's not to say I wouldn't like apply to things in Portland. My big question is, being an arts commissioner, what type of conflict of interest is put out there? Like, how does that work if there's opportunities for me in Oregon City, but I'm on the Arts Commission? Does that mean, well, you might have been a part of this decision, or you might have helped put that idea out there? Where are the lines drawn with that? So it's
I feel like that's a Daniel question.
Really and truly, as long as you state that you believe that you have a conflict of interest and you abstain from participating in, let's say, for example, a vote that makes a decision for that, you would just need to make sure that you recognize that in the meeting and just be a consummate professional that we know you are, to be able to just kind of quietly sit back and smile.
Like if Art in Oregon were to somehow collaborate with the commission, I would just have to not vote on making that choice.
Yeah.
But I feel like I still could do it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we haven't had a lot of that. I mean, if you have a mural, there might be something. We haven't.
Or yeah,
really
try
done
to
that.
navigated that a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, we have some call to artists that are going to be coming up. That might be another one where
Yeah.
that may impact it. But again, that doesn't stop you from still participating in it up to the point of actually doing a vote.
Gotcha.
You know, you could provide all kinds of feedback to that stage, but at that point where you actually are making an aye or a nay, you would just abstain.
Okay, that makes sense. Can I ask one more question? I know we're out of time.
I think I'm
We
sure.
had 20 and it was 15, so we should
Oh,
be good,
okay.
right, Daniel?
No, I actually have already added the 5 minutes. I was quiet about it though, but you're more than welcome.
I just would like to understand what exactly the time commitment is, because I don't want to commit and not be able to deliver, basically. So that is my question.
2 hours once a month, and then maybe 2 or 3 hours extra work. during the month.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's, okay. That's, I can't.
It's
I
pretty
can't-
limiting, and it can be more or less too, if you, depends on how much research and digging you want to do in between meetings, and, we don't have too much as far as committees yet. There's one that I'm supposed to be on for something. But I think it'll be okay.
Unless you're the chair. If you're the chair, then it's a lot more.
Okay, I won't do that.
And even then, I
Commissioner Lugo?
prepare for each
Bring the
meeting
microphone a
like
little closer to
maybe
you.
for an hour
Okay.
at the most, so.
It can move to you.
As we start to be able to create a little bit more programs, there might be more, but of course, we would all love that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, then those are fun times, but very little.
You're more than welcome to stay and finish watching the rest of today's meeting. There's some great stats coming up. And
Ooh, I love some stats.
so,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Your resume was amazing.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
I kept reading and
I
reading.
know.
It was wonderful.
It's so cool. I want to go to your show.
So next interview on the agenda is Emma Lugo.
Should I go over there?
I think the camera would like you there.
Okay, sure. Somebody has to ask my question. Why don't you ask my question? Maybe you could ask my question. I like to ask my own question.
Welcome, Commissioner Lugo, because you are commissioner as of this date, but welcome, and thank you for interviewing again. So shall we just go around one more time, same questions? So
Certainly.
Commissioner Buer?
What do you understand as the role of a city commission?
Well, city commissions do different things, but generally, like, the Arts Commission is supposed to advise the city commission on issues related to arts. So, I mean, our commission advises the city on the mural code, and we also provide some guidance on picking out public art projects, and try to kind of push the city commission to support the arts more generally. The library commission, there's different commissions, Parks and Rec, so they all kind of do different things. But I think I understand what our commission does.
Tell us about your art.
So I mostly just have a painting practice now. I paint at home in my studio. I mostly paint in acrylics. I tend to focus on the paintings of the Columbia River Basin, native peoples from before Western settlement. So I'm really interested in the petroglyphs and pictographs of native cultures in the Pacific Northwest from before European settlement. I've really just had this unending fascination with those forms, and I just kind of explore them through paint. But I mean, I have a much longer history as an artist. I mean, before I focused just entirely on painting, I had a practice which included multimedia art, and I tended to work with mixed media objects that I would craft together into sort of semi-interesting sculptures. One piece that I did was something called a Torah. So it was called a collage scroll. And I took the idea of a Torah, which is part of my own tradition. And I filled up this piece of this industrial roll of paper that was 100 feet long with collage, just all kinds of like crazy collage. And then I rolled it up so that the viewer could kind of roll it out the way that you do a Torah, but instead you would be like looking at like bizarre assemblages of collaged items. I also enjoy working a lot with fabric. I like working with fabric and paper and also usually with a little bit of a sculptural object too. So I love sewing. I love doing mixed media assemblage. I spend a lot of time also doing these collage books that I do, where I take a book like maybe like an academic textbook, and I'll just like completely alter the text through collage and through mixed media and through different things. I'll change it into something else. Like I took one that was about it was an entire textbook from the 1950s about meteorology, and I did this like meditation on television and how television has like completely changed how we understand and view the world. But right now I'm just mostly focused on painting. So that's, I mean, almost all my work for the last 3 years has just all been painting.
Wonderful, very creative. And what is your vision of what you would like to see the Art Commission accomplish?
I would love to see the Art Commission build a art center here in Oregon City that's as good as the Multnomah Art Center. I think that Oregon City is poised to do this, and I think that we just have to find the will within the City Commission to support this. I think that we're on our way to doing it as an Arts Commission. I mean, whether I'm on the Arts Commission or not, I think that we're on our way. But I do think that it's probably a 10-year project. I mean, from start to completion. And we're still kind of in the gestation phase. But that's like what I really want to see the Arts Commission do.
Thank you. Commissioner Wilson?
What is your vision for the future of arts in Oregon City?
I mean, some of it I think is just getting back to stuff that we've already done. I mean, like when we used to do the open studio tours, I think that was a great project for us to do. So, I mean, I'd love to see more efforts by the Arts Commission and by the community more generally to really kind of elevate all of the creative work that's already here in Oregon City. I mean, I know that there's, this is kind of a hideout for a lot of artists who can't afford to live up in Portland or who just for whatever reason have ended up down here. And so I know that there's like just tons of great artists just all over the place in this city. And I mean, I'd really love to see us create more opportunities to really highlight all of the great work that's actually already being produced right here in Oregon City. And then the other thing I'd really love to see is I'd love to see us make more of a connection with, with educating kids about the arts and kind of bringing in the sort of work that, that you all do down there on Main Street, but just kind of more generally.
Thank you.
What do you feel is the best asset you bring to the commission?
I'm just a pain in the ass. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Sorry. That's probably the main thing.
You mean you have a good, strong voice? And I love that about you.
Yeah.
What do you feel the role of the Arts Commission should be?
I think that the Arts Commission should be a standalone commission. I mean, I feel like the Arts Commission bringing attention to things for the City Commission is, I think it kind of clips the wings of the Arts Commission in a lot of ways. I mean, I really feel like the Arts Commission should really be its own standalone commission. I know that this isn't how city commissions work, but it should be its own standalone entity that kind of is empowered to really make decisions. I mean, I feel like there's so much more the Arts Commission could be doing. And I understand that we are a city entity, but I mean, we're here because we want to really advocate and promote the arts in this city. And the arts are really powerful. I mean, the arts can be revolutionary, they can be transformational, they can be community building. And when artists are in the right place to do the right thing, we're just incredibly inspiring. And, I think that right now, the Arts Commission is just, we're pretty limited in how we have any kind of tangible impact. But I mean, I think that those sorts of things can be negotiated, believe it or not. I mean, we don't have to just be something that just makes comments and suggestions to the city. There's a lot of ways to do an arts commission, and this isn't the only way to do it.
Daniel, could I see the other questions? Because my question is a little not very useful for our,
Unfortunately, it's kind of the same one.
oh, I
That's why
have, gotta use this.
I just used all of them that were submitted to me, and they all kind of had the same ring because everyone's kind of very interested in the same things.
Sure. Well, do you have any past experience with the government agency?
I have a little bit, yeah. I mean, besides being on the Arts Commission, I have some, I'm also on the, I used to be on the City Commission for Willamette Falls TV. I'm actually on the board of Willamette Falls TV now, but it used to be something that was appointed by the mayor. And then I've served on the budget committee, the Budget and Urban Renewal Committee. So that's my experience here in Oregon City.
And Commissioner Planton, do you have a question?
I gave mine.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed it. Sorry. Commissioner Andrews?
Yeah, same question that's in the chat. I think you said that you prioritize a community arts center. I guess, and you said you think it'd take about 10 years to put that into place. In the meantime, I guess what do you see the Arts Commission working on?
What do I see the Arts Commission working on? I mean, I see the Arts Commission playing a bigger role in supporting arts events and happenings here in Oregon City. I mean, I think that the Bridge Festival this year was a great example of how the arts can really just be foundational to a process. And I think that there's a lot more that we can do with our public space in terms of having events. I think that the Arts Commission could definitely play a role in helping to stimulate that. I'm really, really excited to see what happens with the arts survey, because I think the arts survey is really going to, give us a much better picture of what to do next year. I also think that, the Arts Commission should continue to promote tourism in Oregon City, although, I mean, I don't really see that much tourism in Oregon City. I know there is a little bit, but I mean, I think that especially the thing that we never really talk about, we just don't really talk about it that much, is once the land down at, once all the stuff down there gets taken care of, which who knows how long that'll take, but once it gets taken care of, it's really going to change the arts landscape just foundationally in Oregon City, because the falls, which are the sacred hunting ground and their sacred gathering ground of the Confederated tribe, which is going to be able to repurpose and kind of rebrand the falls, and that whole site is going to just have a huge impact on this entire city. I mean, we could be in a place in 25 or 50 years where we've completely shifted the narrative of what Oregon City means from this place where people came and settled and basically used the land and used all of its resources and then left this thing that we mostly try not to see. They could repurpose that into a narrative about what kind of a community we are, as a place that really centers the voices of indigenous people and really kind of has a reframed idea about the relationship between community and nature. And I think that they're doing really important work right now of beginning to unpack all of the damage that we've done from the last 150 years. And I think that arts can really play a role in helping to tell that story. I think we're already starting to do that a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next interview is Commissioner Planton.
Thank you.
How many open positions are there?
So
Three.
there's three.
Exactly, okay.
Yeah, and one's not being replaced.
What?
No, there's two open positions, right? And
No,
three
there's
candidates.
three.
There are three.
One
There
person
are
is not
two
being
commissioners that have put in saying that they would like to return, and then one is not. And so we have one officially open, and then two commission seats that are potentially filled.
Okay, here we go. Thank you. So, what do you understand as the role of a city commission?
I think a city commission's main role is to speak on behalf of the community at government or to government. What we do here and what a lot of the other groups do in general is just act as that sounding board, making sure that decisions aren't being made by government officials without, who haven't been elected, without input from the community on those projects and how those funds that we pay in taxes are spent. So I think in general, that's the role of the group of these committees.
Tell us about your art.
So yeah, I'm not a professional artist in any way, but as a hobby, I've been painting since probably prior to high school. I mainly do landscape acrylic paintings. I've started to get a little bit into urban landscape, mainly though my background is in natural landscape. And then portrait, facial portraits, sketching, charcoal drawings, although I'm, again, trying to branch out a little bit more and go full figure now, practicing on all of that. So that's what I mainly focus on with my art.
What is your ultimate vision of what you would like to see the Art Commission accomplish?
I would like to see the Art Commission accomplish, the goals that we've set out already for ourselves in getting the community involved in the arts more, getting artists more time in front of the community to showcase their art, to present their ideas, and to hopefully bring maybe some, at least, discussion to the community at large, diversify our cultural understandings, and make sure that there are programs available to people who want to be in the arts or who want to experience art in some way without, having to go to a gallery or a museum, but have it be publicly available to them so that they can experience, they can see, they can participate in those art programs.
What is your vision for the future of arts in Oregon City?
I would like to see, as Commissioner Lugo pointed out, I think there's going to be a strong shift in the community as soon as the development down in downtown Oregon City goes through. I think along with that, or maybe prior to that, seeing the arts expanded to the point of bringing in tourism, giving people of Oregon City more opportunities, more engagement with the arts. I like to see also the education side of things with arts increased. Right now, I think we have one technical school in Oregon City. Why don't we have an art school in Oregon City? Kids, I think, learn a lot, not just as artists, but in general life principles from art that would be great, I think, to exemplify, to have available to everyone. You can take art and apply it to a number of different studies, and it can have a great impact. So I would like to see art education, increased in Oregon City, and be something that isn't just cut off the budget, from the school boards, but something that we strive to achieve in all the things we do.
Thank you.
What do you feel is the best asset you bring to the commission?
I think one of the biggest things that I can provide in terms of skill set is that understanding, familiarity with a commission style setup where you're having to make decisions as a group, that coming to a good discussion or coming to a decision after a solid discussion, providing input there. I think I also have, my background is in finance. One of the biggest things that I think that are objectives or maybe challenges that this commission will face is long-term funding to get the projects that we'd like to see off the ground and moving forward. You know, the establishment of a community center is going to take a lot of funding to get there. And the more we can set up now to get understanding of now around what kind of funding we're going to need for that, and get those programs in place to raise that kind of funding is going to be key. And I think I can provide a lot of input on those sorts of things.
So again, this question relates to some of the answers you've already given us, but what do you feel the role of the Arts Commission should be?
What I think it should be, I think it should be a more independent body that doesn't just advise, but really promotes across the board projects and artists and art in general. I think we have learned over the course of the last year that there's things we can and can't do, and it's frustrating at times. I think there are opportunities for us to, you know, encourage the city to give a little more authority. Maybe we have to prove ourselves a little bit more first, but I think overall, I would like to see us take on a role that is more than just an advisory group, but something that actually pushes through, even if it's policy or sets goals for the city in general to achieve in the arts would be great.
And do you have past experience with working within government agencies?
Yeah, I did an internship with the DA's office in Southern Oregon. I have worked on the Oregon City Budget Committee before, and then the Arts Commission. So a bit of experience.
Thank you.
Mary's
Yes,
question.
go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Andrews?
Yeah, so if given the opportunity to serve, how would you prioritize the three things that are supporting artists through grant funding, increasing public art projects, or establishing a community arts center?
Yeah, I think it's hard to prioritize these three things because one, you don't want to have to, and two, I think a lot of these feed off of each other a bit. So by increasing public art, I think you're already starting to support public artists through grant funding. So I would have to prioritize probably increasing public art as the first step, which I think leads to and then just because I think while the community arts center would be terrific to have, it'll take time to establish. We have to play the long game with that already. So I would put that as the last option. So.
Do you have any comments for us or any feedback?
No, I don't think so.
Anything else? Thank you so much.
I feel like it should be golf claps or something. Everyone doing
So you'll see, everybody will see this recommendation. So at this time, we'll just write down the recommendations. It's kind of a moot process. These will go to the mayor for final approval.
So basically, just clarity, so basically each of us individually fill this in and then the mayor gets the 7 pieces or whatever
Right.
pieces of paper.
And then she gives her final approval from that. And if you want to put any comments in it, it will be made public if you want to put any comments on it.
Question?
Yes, Mary, I will figure out what I'm going to do to get yours to you.
Okay, thanks.
You know, I saw that coming. I'm like, oh, Mary.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
Daniel and I match on the Zoom.
I know, yeah, coordinating outfits, guys.
And then on the camera, we look like twins.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed these before? I never noticed
There you
those
go.
before.
No, look at, they have ones in red.
It's like little advice, the lens of advice.
What if that first one, think creatively. Okay, we're coming to the exciting time of the meeting. Drum roll, please. We will be reviewing the results of the art survey. Who here has had a chance to go through them before the meeting tonight?
Just briefly, very briefly.
Yeah, very interesting. The comments were absolutely across the board.
I would like to kind of do a little bit of a
Sure,
presentation
please.
up to a certain point, but I want you guys to be able to talk
Thank
freely,
you.
whatever. But give me just a second here. And then I gotta share to Mary so she can see it. And Commissioner, can you see that okay?
Yes, I can see it, thank you.
Okay, I'll try to move these little pictures out of the way as well. So a couple learnings from the survey. Now, I'm gonna abstain from providing my feedback unless you guys reach a point where you're like, what did you see on the data side? So I'm the very analytical kind of guy, and I really want you all to be able to look at this and say, this is how I feel about this. Please understand, especially in the comments, you have the good, the bad, and the ugly always with any kind of comments. You get some of the people who are just super supportive. There's some people who are, so I highly recommend not taking that at all personal in any way whatsoever. It is just, oh, I forgot to turn this off. It is what that is. It's very common in the statistical world that comments can trigger intense feeling as you're reading them. And so we put them all in here. As they were written,